All right, we're going to walk you through the steps on how to um, calibrate your dial calipers so that we can ensure that they are recording or we're getting an accurate measurement when we measure things. And so the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure you have the jaws completely closed on the caliper. So I'm going to push that jaw until it's completely closed. And you should not see any space. There should be no space between this point and this point. So right in here, there should be no space. So that jaw is completely closed. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the dial right here, the dial indicator, to make sure it is at 0. And so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and loosen this thumb screw on the bottom, loosen it a little bit, and then I can adjust the dial to make sure it is right on the 0. Make sure the indicator is right on the 0. And so once I've done that, then I can go ahead and close or tighten that thumb screw by turning it clockwise. The other tool that we're going to use to make sure our calipers are calibrated and we can record accurate measurements is a 1, 2, 3 gauge block. So they call this a 1, 2, 3 gauge block because it's 3 inches in width by 2 inches in depth by 1 inch in height. All right. And so this gauge block is a piece of, in this case, steel that has been precision ground to be very, very close to the actual dimension. And so when we are calibrating a measurement tool, this is the system we would use. And so you'll go ahead and get your dial caliper out. And you'll record or try to get a width dimension. So I'm going to do that from the very center of the width. So many times this you'd be told that the standard would be that you would take multiple measurements across this gauge block, across the different depths in the gauge block to record the width. For our case in class, we're just going to do one, and so I'm going to try to put it in as close to the center as I can. A couple of tricks: make sure that you're not recording the measurement way out here at the end of the gauge block, or you will get an inaccurate measurement. You kind of want it to be right in the middle of those jaws, and you want to push that close, and it should be slightly loose. So I can still move the gauge or the dial caliper up and down a little bit. All right, so it shouldn't be clamped on there, so it can't move at all. So it should be, again, slightly loose. And then you'll go ahead and record that measurement, what it actually was, in your spreadsheet, and then you can determine if your dial caliper is getting an accurate reading.